Want better grades or an engaging life? Standard advice says just work harder. But there's a more efficient approach: hacking your brain's reward system. By learning how to nurture your own curiosity, you can train your brain to absorb information faster and make your daily routines highly stimulating. To do this, grab a pen and paper or open a blank note on your phone. We are going to build your personalized 3-step curiosity action plan. Curiosity usually feels like a random spark, something that just happens to you. By putting it into a formal system, you turn that unpredictable feeling into a reliable tool you can use every day to grow. Let's start with step 1, the comfort zone audit. On your notepad, write down one daily routine you do entirely on autopilot and one academic subject or work task that you find incredibly boring. In psychology, there is a difference between trait curiosity and state curiosity. Trait curiosity is your baseline personality, how naturally inquisitive you are. State curiosity is a temporary urge to explore a specific situation. You might not have high trait curiosity, and that is completely fine. The objective of this framework is to intentionally manufacture triggers that activate that temporary state curiosity on demand. When we don't actively seek out new information, we tend to fall back into neophobia. Neophobia is the natural human fear of the unknown or the new, and it becomes much more common as we get older. This is why auditing your autopilot behaviors is necessary. You cannot actively trigger a curious state until you pinpoint exactly where your brain has defaulted to this passive fear of the unknown. Now for step 2, academic optimization. Look at the boring subject you wrote down in step 1. Next to it, write down one specific, unfamiliar question about that topic that you genuinely do not know the answer to. Encountering slightly unfamiliar information activates your brain's reward pathway. The nucleus accumbens lights up, releasing dopamine. These particles travel to the hippocampus, responsible for memory formation. This dopamine hit acts as a save button, cementing the new information into a long-lasting memory. This chart shows this mechanism in action. A study of 600 high school students found those exhibiting high curiosity saw massive variances in standardized test scores, yielding a 33.1% boost in math and a 15.5% increase in science. There is a catch, though. If the question you ask is too complex, you fall into the anxiety trap. This triggers the release of cortisol, a stress hormone, which causes your brain to initiate a back-away response. To avoid that stress, break your complex subject down into smaller, less intimidating questions. This keeps you in the optimal arousal zone, where the challenge is just stimulating enough to be rewarding. By taking a dull academic subject and reframing it into a bite-sized novel puzzle, you chemically trick your brain into absorbing and retaining the material with almost no friction. Finally, we reach step 3, programming daily triggers. On your plan, create 2 empty checkboxes and commit to 2 actions of neophilia, which is simply the love of new things, that you will take this week. These actions should be based on what psychologists call Kaleda variables. These are specific triggers like novelty, complexity, and surprisingness that force your brain to compare new stimuli with old memories. For example, you can inject novelties simply by trying a new food, or you can add complexity by navigating an unfamiliar route. You can also practice social curiosity, which is the drive to understand your environment by relating to others. Try asking a peer a specific question about their background to better understand their behavior. This human drive for information is incredibly deep. Consider morbid curiosity, the urge that draws crowds to accident scenes. Humans feel compelled to understand even harmful or violent events because our brains desperately want to make sense of the world. When you program safe, daily triggers into your routine, you are tapping into that exact same drive. By actively seeking out the unknown, you train your brain to adapt rather than panic. Executing these daily micro-exposures to uncertainty conditions your mind. Over time, you instinctively start treating the unknown as a rewarding puzzle instead of a threat. Let's review what you've built. You have a 3-step plan: identifying your autopilot routines, framing a boring subject as a dopamine-hacking puzzle, and scheduling 2 daily neophilia triggers. You have successfully built a tangible framework. You've taken curiosity from a passive feeling that you wait for and turned it into an active, programmable daily habit. Now it is time to test it. Go execute your first daily novelty trigger immediately and report your discoveries down in the comments. Mastering your curiosity physically rewires how your brain processes the unknown, turning every new challenge into a clear advantage in how you experience the world.